Powerful Information is a small non-profit organisation based in Milton Keynes. We work with partner organisations in other countries, particularly in Africa and Eastern Europe. We work with local partners to tackle local problems, and in particular trying to lift people out of poverty. The visit of Vision for the Blind to the United Kingdom is very important for us. It's the first time we've been able to organise anything on this scale.
As the work that Vision for the Blind is doing in Sierra Leone and our achievements would have been difficult without powerful information. I sometimes do wonder how much successes we would have been able to make were powerful information not being there.
When I heard of Vision for the Blind visiting the UK through powerful information, I was very happy, because I know when I come to the UK, I will learn many things that will help me also to help my women.
What I found most exciting was that having known Mike and Kirsty, I've learned a lot, and I know knowing Powerful Information team, I was going to learn something new, and I know it's something going to help those who are less privileged in Sierra Leone, and that would add another feather to the cap of Vision for the Blind.
My hopes for the project were positive, because whatever we learn here will help us transform our society in Sierra Leone. You know, people live with various cultures, but we are all one. So if people in the UK can have respect for people who are blind and disabled, can support them to become educated, why can't we do it in Sierra Leone? So I knew that whatever we were going to learn here could be useful in transforming our society.
And they make fufu. If you put your hands in that one, that is actually like, would you guys go? Right, pick it up, have a look, what do you think? Then they dye it and they undo the knots.
The UK visit of our partners here has been an extraordinary week, 2 weeks of outreach with the public. We wanted to reach out to the public in Milton Keynes, and to do that we organised a series of World Cafe events. And this was a concept that the volunteer group came up with, and we decided to have a kind of forum for meeting and asking questions that was more relaxed than a workshop or a meeting, and for people to be able to have a little taste of different aspects of cultural life in Sierra Leone, and also learn more about the work that Powerful Information do with our partners Vision for the Blind.
For me, speaking directly to the people from other countries has been the biggest impact. It's just that contact, and just speaking to them has just been really nice. Strangely enough, they didn't realise I was African until I mentioned it to them, and then Adama very quickly touched my hair just to have some proof.
Well, generally, to be blind or visually impaired in Sierra Leone, it's quite challenging.
Being a disabled person in a very poor country is extremely difficult. There is a widespread belief that your disability is due to some bad deed you've done in a previous life. So people have very little sympathy.
Well, being blind in Sierra Leone is just like living in hell while you are on earth. This is because we lack the basic necessities that can help a blind or visually impaired person to be successful in life. And so most times blind people end up becoming street beggars.
And they say when a child is blind, he or she is not useful. In fact, some parents decide to get rid of that child. They say they are returning him or her back where he came from, and that's killing him. They are going to kill that child and bury him, or sometimes they bury him alive. They have some native performance that they used to do. They say they are returning the child back to where he came from. And so they kill the poor child, never knowing how that child would be.
One of the most important functions that Vision for the Blind fulfills is reducing isolation for people who are blind. If you're blind in a village, you are completely alone. No support, no education, no sympathy. Once you come across Vision for the Blind, they can help you meet other blind people, and you can then build your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and change your outlook on life.
If an individual is not empowered, then he will always become an asset. But with the support of powerful information, we are able to help blind people realize that they can be economically independent through the skills which they've learned, through the rehabilitation and counseling, and through our education programs. The most surprising part of my visit in the UK is how much inclusive education has become a success. Children starting inclusive education in the mainstream schools from nursery up to college level is so surprising to me.
And I think our experiences with these professionals, these specialists, especially the ones in inclusive education, which we're trying now to pilot in Sierra Leone, I think the ideas and knowledge we've acquired from these people, I think would be the ones Vision for the Blind will be implementing in Sierra Leone.
And I met Tilly at Latin Manor Junior, sitting with our colleagues in this class, participating well, taking notes together with them. So she's been not only an inspiration, but a motivator to our campaign for inclusive education in Sierra Leone.
What is this? H.
This is the first time of
Do you want
even
me to turn
feeling
it on
it.
for you? Shall I
Yeah, turn it on.
That would be helpful.
Yes, all right.
Well, Mike's bike was very interesting to me. When we visited the school there where the school Tilly is attending,
Can you feel the brakes?
our TI teacher, Debbie, said to us, Tilly can ride the bicycle. Then I said to myself, if Tilly is blind, she can ride a bicycle. Why not me? And I tried it. It was very exciting.
She's panting.
Then the horses, we don't have horses in Sierra Leone. So I wanted to have the experience, and it was very frightening for me. But that was a good one.
What surprised me more I've never seen in my life, which I was not even expected to see or be a part of it, was the train driver. Seeing a train very fast going, then especially when we entered in the train, everything was strange.
Well, in my lifetime, I was thinking, will I ever have the opportunity to go on a train? I decided to go and have a ride. And it was very interesting. I loved it so much.
The station you're coming from?
Milton Keynes.
I wouldn't have imagined, the kind of support, the volunteers and other members of Powerful Information, have rendered to us. Because in Sierra Leone, when we talk of volunteers, they just come on the surface. But here, what I'm seeing is completely different.
I think the big difference at Powerful Information is that you feel empowered to actually have some responsibility, take decisions, and really go for it. And it's your chance to be creative, and your ideas are shared and they're not rejected, and you can really use the skills that you have
I feel that my contribution is really making a difference because I've really mainly contributed time. And I think people sometimes think that charities are just looking for their money, whereas in this instance we've contributed our time and our skills, and that's been really valued because we've been key in planning and organising this global linking project. And I feel without the volunteer input that probably wouldn't have happened, or it wouldn't have happened on the scale it has. So I feel that our input's been really valued.
Here in our country, we have like all the resources and we have like more help. As in Sierra Leone, some people don't have that much resources and they have to like fight to get the education.
And it's expensive, like to get things that's accessible for them. And like here in UK, it's just like that, and like we're privileged to have like this kind of stuff, and like sometimes people take it for granted.
Well, when I say they are sponsoring us, they are funding us to build the capacity of our women, so that at the end of the day, these women will be able to tackle their own problems, good governance, adult literacy. That I mean, they would be able to read and write and they empower the women through their sponsorship. So all what I have been learning from them, I will take this to my people in Sierra Leone, especially my grassroots people. I know at first it would be strange to them, but we learned a lot. So I will be taking this education to them.
For me, it's been a real privilege to be able to work in an organization that is doing something I believe in a way that I believe is very human-centered. It's about working with people. It's not about telling people what to do. It's about trying to get the best out of people. I'm privileged because I work with some very inspirational people, both here in the United Kingdom and in the countries where we're working. And I see the problems that they are facing. And in a sense, those are my problems. Seeing a blind child go to school for the first time, or somebody get into college, or maybe somebody who's gone blind recently to get some counselling so they don't commit suicide. And these are very real problems that our colleagues are working on. Or seeing the empowerment that women can get when they get an education and they can actually make their voice heard. They have more say in their family. They have better communication in their family because they know how to communicate, even with their husband and their children. So there's more peace in the household. So these are the things that I see through our work, and these things are very important to me.
I think it's really inspirational, the guys and their stories. I mean, being blind is a barrier in itself, but being blind in one of the poorest countries in the world is just something that I couldn't really comprehend. And to see the guys so articulate and so educated and coming over, that has really moved me, because it's made me think that there's no real barriers that you can't overcome.
I feel so, in fact, at first I thought it was a dream, which will never become a reality. And now I am happy it has become a reality. It's so wonderful. It has changed my life.
I feel the visit has surpassed my expectations. I was sure they would learn a lot, and some of the visitors have not left Sierra Leone before, so for some of them it was quite a big culture shock, I imagine. But what they've achieved and the things that the learning they've absorbed and the new ideas they're coming up with has been incredible to see how they're taking ideas from the UK and being able to apply them to the context of Sierra Leone. It's just been magical.
You know, just try to look at what the individual or the organization has brought in, okay? It's about what the organization can deliver and not the size of the organization. The size of the organization matters, but the strength is limited, okay? You can have a small, size of an organization, like Powerful Information, but the strength is enormous. They can deliver. Like Vision for the Blind in Sierra Leone, we are small, but but we can deliver. Don't concentrate your funding scheme to bigger organizations. Consider smaller ones as well. They can even perform better than bigger organizations. That I can see.